I'm going to be answering some of the questions that we get. We get a lot of questions on YouTube, and I just realized it's a good opportunity for you guys to all learn from these questions. I could just write that person and answer back, but it's better for me to answer the question right here live for you guys to learn from as well. Here's what we got. Today, we're going to be talking about tenants. The landlord-tenant relationship can become adversarial sometimes. And it's like the landlord's philosophy is, why can't they just pay the rent and shut up and, not bother me? And then the tenant's philosophy is, why can't in some ways, maybe, why can't the landlord just do what they're supposed to do, take care of this property, give me a break sometimes, because maybe I'm fell upon hard times and maybe I just don't have the money or whatever. Why can't they be a little more empathetic, right? I'm not here to answer that question. I'm here to just give some advice on tenant issues, because I think the landlord-tenant relationship is one of these funky things that's just going to be is what it is. I can't solve it today. First question, this comes in from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for your question on YouTube. I appreciate you. This is on a video I shot about how to remove a bad tenant. Can you just make them as in the tenant and landlord? I get tenant questions too, but this is a landlord certainly asking this question. Can you just make them sign off on their rights when it comes to move out time? And if they sign it, if they sign it, where is it clearly states that they waive their rights, right? Then what? No. Okay. Here's the deal, guys. A lease it's a legally binding agreement, but it is a contract between you and your tenant, as long as the lease abides by the law. But for the most part, a lease is an open contract, and a tenant can sign something with you as the landlord that agrees to cancel the lease, agrees to modify the lease, agrees to change this, change that. And agreements can be changed. I shot this video here about going to the tenant and telling the tenant, hey, this isn't working. Can we both agree this isn't working? So I'm going to do this. Could be give you a portion of your security deposit back, give you all security deposit back if you move out and break your lease early or whatever. That is a perfectly fine arrangement to do. So, Sarah, you're talking about a tenant signing away their rights. I want to be careful about, there's certain rights they can sign away, which is like, let's say, for example, if they're on a 1-year lease and you say, okay, 6 months in, this isn't going to work out. Can you agree to move out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or whatever? And I'll return the security deposit and we'll agree that no more rent's due. We'll agree to cancel the contract, yada, 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 right? That could be negotiated between both parties. The landlord can't force these things. You can't force the tenant to do something that's not in the lease, but if it's a mutually agreed upon agreement, they can both sign off on these things, right? And just about anything is possible to ask a tenant to agree to. They just have to sign off on it and agree to it, right? You say sign away their rights. I mean, their rights to sue you, their rights to, their rights that are enforced by the housing code, that kind of thing. There's certain rights they can agree to, and there's certain rights that the law is going to say that they get no matter what, right? So I would check your local housing codes on what rights they can and can't sign off on. But if you're talking about just, the rights to stay in the property, the rights to come get their stuff afterwards, whatever, all that can be defined in the agreement. But if there's further rights, let's say that they're not going to sue you if they get lead-based paint exposure. They're not going to file any claims against you if they ingest asbestos or if you perform a negligent act or whatever. They can't sign that away. They still have those rights, of course, as they should. There are certain things they can sign off on and certain things they can't. But if you're referring to just the basic confines of the lease, then yeah, you can renegotiate that. But just understand, they have to sign off on that too. You can't force anything. Great question, Sarah. Next question. This is the next YouTube video, yet another landlord-tenant YouTube video that I shot. How to get rid of the worst tenants that you got in this is a 2021 video that we shot. This is a question that comes in from Eric. And Eric, what this has to do with, and this is a good question as well. Let's say that Eric has a situation with a tenant, which is what his question alludes to here, where the tenant's moving out and they want to keep their stuff in the property for a certain period of time. Okay. So local housing codes and local laws tend to cover this kind of thing. In New Jersey, as we understood the law to read in New Jersey, and again, it's an interpretation of the law. You should consult with an attorney in your local area. But in New Jersey, the way the law read was there was a certain period of time that you had to store the tenant's stuff in the unit, and you could charge them a reasonable storage fee for their stuff. And so that means that if a tenant abandons the apartment, walks out the door, you can't go in 24 hours after they abandon the apartment and go throw all their stuff away, as long as it's reasonably materially valuable stuff. If they leave nothing, just a bunch of garbage, true garbage in the property, then yeah, they've abandoned it. You get it back, and you can throw it away. What I'm careful of, and a lot of landlords have asked me this too, is if they leave something of true value, like a TV and a bed set, furniture or whatever, can I take that stuff? Can I take possession of that stuff and then sell it to generate money for myself, to pay myself back the money the tenant may have owed me, right? Okay. Here's what we did. We would notify the tenant in writing at whatever mailing address we had for them, or by text message or email or whatever. Hey, you've abandoned stuff and this is now abandoned. And this is the period of time you have. In New Jersey, it was 30 days, right? So we would have to go and take it. And if it was of value, take it and put it somewhere else. And then let it season in that period, and let the tenant know this is where it is. And if you want to go get it, you got to go pay the storage fee at the storage place we put it, and then go get your stuff. And if they still did not respond to that, then after 30 days, then we would take it and monetize it. And this only happened a few times. Most of the time they take things that are of value, but if they truly abandon the things, then you got to store it for a period of time. And it's also just good citizenship, good humans to do that kind of thing. If they leave something of true material value, don't be a gangster. Don't go take it and sell it immediately to get yourself money back. And that, be a good human and realize that, maybe they might want that. And if they don't, let it sit for a little bit. Let them notify you have it. And if they don't, then it's considered abandoned. Then you're going to liquidate it. But it also 100% depends on the area. There are certain states that as soon as the tenant walks out the door, that once they've physically left the property, they've left the rental and they've left everything behind as well. Even if they leave things of true material value behind, that's then become abandoned right then. You should look into your local housing codes and look into your state laws around this. I talked to an eviction attorney. An eviction attorney is a phenomenal resource to ask what to do with tenants' possessions when they leave them behind. Okay.